Writing.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
why are you writing about your opinion in every single paragraph in this essay?
Well, it's an opinion essay, duh.
No, it's not. It's clearly a discussion essay.
Crap.
Okay, guys, by the end of this video, you will know how to get a band score 9 in task response in the IELTS Task 2. And it's all to do with approaching the task in the right way, the way that the examiner expects you to.
I'm Michael, by the way.
And I'm Phil, and you're watching the IELTS Grind.
Remember to like and subscribe.
So, task response is possibly one of the most important things, because if you get this wrong, it can put all your good work to waste.
And basically what it comes down to is, did you answer the question as well as possible?
As you were expected to.
And to be honest, this is one of the easiest things I find for students to improve.
Yeah, but it seems to be the thing that trips them up the most.
Yes, which means it's easy to fix, but many people have problems with it.
Yeah.
So there's three main problems that I see my students struggle with. The first one is they don't answer the question. Now, sometimes this may seem really obvious. Who doesn't answer the question? Sometimes they don't know the vocabulary in the prompt, and that's why they get it wrong. And sometimes they kind of go on a tangent. Like, they talk around the topic, they don't directly address the topic, and that will really hurt your score.
It's probably because they didn't write a plan, or they didn't stick to the plan, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And?
The second thing is they did not fully support their ideas. They had good ideas, but they just mentioned it and then moved on. And that is not enough. You need to support what you say. You need to show what you say with examples and facts.
Definitely.
And sometimes, like this is related to the first one, so sometimes they answer the wrong question, and then other times they go on a tangent. Yes.
Okay, so hopefully by the end of this video you won't do this anymore, because we're going to show you exactly how to do it, and at a band score 9 level. Okay, so first of all, shall we talk about the marking criteria, the descriptor, exactly what is expected of you. So for task response, for band score 9, the examiner is expecting you to fully address all parts of the task, to present a fully developed position in answer to the question, and that comes with relevant and fully extended and well-supported ideas. And it's pretty much what Michael just spoke about there, answering the question, staying on topic, and supporting what you're saying.
Now, we're about to jump into an essay so that we can analyze it, but it uses really high-level grammar and vocab.
Yes.
And I know that it might be too difficult for some of you guys to understand. So what we've done is we have the same essay, but with lower level, easier to understand English, in a link down below.
Yeah, and you can compare the two and see where they differ, and hopefully steal all the good ideas.
Yes, and I hope you guys will be able to follow along. Even if you get stuck with something that we're talking about, you can go and look at the easier one and just find out what we mean when we say that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into it now. So first of all, we're going to start off and read you the introduction, and then we'll analyze it from the perspective of task response. So let's listen to that first.
Jobs are becoming increasingly automated by robots and AI. Some people believe this is a positive trend, while others believe it will ultimately be harmful to society. Discuss both views and give your own opinion at the end. Automation has been happening since the Industrial Revolution and the rise of the steam engine. As technology has improved, so too did automation. Proponents of this say there have always been growing pains as jobs were lost, but others say the rate and extent of job loss in recent years is reaching untenable levels. This essay will discuss both sides of this argument and give my own opinion at the end.
Okay, so tell me about this introduction. What are the good things? What do you think the writer did well?
So, everything, because it's a band 9.
Yeah.
So first of all, he introduced the topic of the prompt very clearly with his very first sentence. He also addresses the fact that this is a two sides plus opinion
Yeah,
essay
that's what I was going to say.
by saying both sides, saying both positions in his second and third sentences. And then finally, he has a very clear thesis, which is the last sentence of his essay. It looks low level, but it does the job.
Yeah,
It
tells the examiner exactly what they're going to read about. And this is a sentence that you can copy and paste. You should be stealing this sentence and using it for discussion essays. It's perfect.
Exactly.
So that's what you need to do. Clearly introduce the main context, the main topic of the prompt, and state a clear thesis. Okay, so that brings us on to paragraph 1 of the body. So let's listen to that and read through it for you.
Those for automation say that it is a good thing, despite any temporary setbacks, and will lead us to becoming a utopian post-scarcity civilization. They claim that jobs have always disappeared as technology improved, and that this is a good thing. Most tasks that are replaced are boring and repetitive, and that these people will be able to get more fulfilling and interesting jobs now that they are freed of their old ones. To exemplify this, they point to the agricultural revolution and how farmers were able to become artisans and inventors, and life became better and people richer as the majority of people no longer had to work on farms. If there are any problems, they say, it is societal. That we don't put the necessary resources into retraining people who are put out of work. If this trend continues, they hope that perhaps one day everyone will be able to pursue whatever job they desire, freed from the shackles of needing to make a living.
Okay.
All right, looking at the second paragraph, body 1, what did he do well here?
Well, the most important thing for any paragraph in the body is to have a very clear topic sentence. This outlines what the entire paragraph is about, and it's useful to you as the writer because you can refer back to it as you're writing.
That's super useful.
But as the reader, it makes it very clear to them what's coming next. So they go on from their topic sentence by clearly giving a good example of this, expanding on this idea and supporting it. And these are the main things that you need to do. A nice clear topic sentence, and then within your supporting sentences, at least one example of that. And
the example should show your position or the position of the paragraph.
Yeah. So in this case, it's an opinion that one group of people have. And within those supporting sentences, you're adding details and expanding the answer. So those are the basic things to do. But this writer has gone beyond that, and they've done some pretty special things. So there was a particular sentence that we picked out.
So despite any temporary setbacks, that is it's kind of like a concession. He's saying this is something, there are some bad things here. But then what he does in his remaining supporting sentences is he shows how that doesn't matter. He's basically saying, so there will be some job loss, but it doesn't matter because the jobs are boring and people don't want to do them anyway. And it will allow people to be able to get better jobs.
And so this is just quite it's quite an academic way to present an argument by taking away the argument of the other side. And it just works very well here.
But this is a very high level thing to be doing. I recommend you only try to do this if you're 7+. Yes. But if you're lower, the main takeaway is, just like we said before, clear topic sentence and then the supporting details connecting to that.
So another thing that they did here is later in the paragraph, they actually started offering solutions to any arguments against what they were saying. And again, this is quite high level. So it's a sentence at the end, if there are any problems, they say it is societal.
Now, there's one last thing to do here, and that is to see that they talked about everything in their topic sentence. Despite any temporary setbacks, they did spend a lot of time addressing this. They had 3 or 4 sentences connected to this. But then they didn't forget to talk about becoming a post-scarcity civilization. Their very last sentence described that future.
Yeah. So just in case you're struggling a little bit with the vocabulary here, don't forget that we've gone through the same essay and we've looked at it from a lexical resource or vocabulary perspective, and you can check that out in the playlist up there, and we explain all the vocabulary there as well. Okay, so a pretty good paragraph. Excellent start. So should we look at the next one?
Yes.
Let's read that to you, and then we'll analyze it. So let's go.
Pundits of this argument claim that these ideas are just that, utopic and unreachable, a fantasy. These people say that, especially with the rise of AI, jobs that were once considered safe are being taken by robots. To show this, they point to the fact that many articles you read online are actually written by bots. AI is starting to be able to create poetry and novels. If even these creative jobs are being taken, not to mention the jobs of doctors and lawyers, what will be left for humans to do? They say the dream laid out in the previous paragraph is more likely to become a nightmare, where the ultra-rich become richer and everyone else is left out in the cold. Okay, what went well here?
Well, again, band score 9, so pretty much everything. Again, they got all the basic elements of a perfect paragraph they need. They got a very good topic sentence. It's very clear, and which they then go on to develop and explain with their supporting sentences. And there are clear examples there. But this one, it's got a few really interesting features. Do you remember what they were?
Yeah, the thing that really sets this apart is that he is making sure that he's using the correct CC words. These are cohesive devices that are showing that it's not his opinion.
Yeah.
Now remember, in this essay type, which is 2 sides plus opinion, you're not saying your opinion in body 1 and body 2. You're saying other people's opinions. And he made very clear to do this a lot in this paragraph.
Which is that, although we're talking about CC words, so cohesion and coherence, it's actually linked to task response, because this is what we're asked to do, to fully answer the question and all elements of the question. And part of it is explore both these views. Not your views, but these views plus your opinion. Yeah, so I think for that, it's a very good paragraph here. Okay, so that brings us on to the conclusion.
That's right.
Let's have a look at that.
Both sides have compelling arguments. However, I still have to say that I personally believe automation will bring a brighter future than the darker one outlined by the pundits. Still, what they say shouldn't be completely ignored, and we should be prepared to help people retool as they lose their jobs and teach them that it is okay to go after their passions, as well as look into things like universal basic income to ensure that everyone gets a piece of the pie.
Okay, so with the conclusion, it's really good here because not only does the writer state their own opinion very clearly with the term I believe, although it's band score 9, they clearly say I believe or I think this is good. They've also written quite a nice balanced sort of introduction to their own opinion. They said both sides have compelling arguments. So it kind of links in nicely from what they've said before. That's really good. They also kind of explain why they think this a little bit, and they end with
Well, yeah, they end with a recommendation.
a recommendation. Yeah.
And this recommendation is actually based on what was said in body 2.
Yeah.
So one other thing that they did really nicely here is that, kind of like what he was saying about it being balanced, he wasn't completely disregarding what was said in the second body paragraph.
Yeah. But the problem with this is if you're a lower level, it can be very tricky to do this, to write a very balanced essay, because you could do everything perfectly and then at the end, suddenly, although you've just stated your opinion, you could suddenly sound like you're changing your mind. So it is really something that only higher level students can do effectively.
For sure.
Yeah.
I see that very, very often.
Yeah.
If you're not that strong yet, I recommend in your conclusion of a 2 sides plus opinion essay, a discussion essay, you just stick to your opinion and why you think that.
Yeah. Now, if you want to have an example of a slightly lower level essay that does something similar, check out the other essay we have in the description, and I'm sure you'll find some good ideas there which you can steal.
So what have we done so far?
Yeah. So we've gone through and we've just shown how this essay really, it does everything that it's supposed to do. It fully introduces the prompt, states a clear thesis, then it follows the right structure throughout the essay, exploring both of these viewpoints, and finally stating the opinion of the writer, exactly what they should be doing.
It was all on topic, and all of the topic sentence ideas were well supported.
Yeah. So shall we just talk a little bit about the paragraphs again, just to give a bit of a clearer idea?
I think we even have a basic formula you can follow if you're not comfortable with English paragraph structures yet.
Yeah.
First, you need to write your topic sentence where you clearly state your main idea. Following that, you should clarify as needed. You may need to say what you mean with your position.
Yeah.
After that, you should have specific examples that show what you were saying in your previous sentences.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing if you look at the example that we have here as a band score 9, compared to the example in the description, which is a slightly lower level, you'll probably notice the length is a little bit different. Here's the thing. Higher level students can actually write less and still get a higher score. And that's just because of their level of English, right?
They can speak very concisely. That means they have a lot of information in a few sentences.
Yeah. So it is possible for a band score 9 to write fewer than 250 words and still walk out with that band score 9.
But honestly, if they're level 9, 250 words is nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably going to sit around being pretty bored for the best part of an hour.
Yes.
So the thing is, if you are currently writing a lower level, then you should definitely aim to write more than 250 words. But you can still use a lot of the ideas we've spoken about here.
Secondly, I see a lot of students doing this where they know about the 250 word limit and they think, oh man, that's so many words. And so they try to make their conclusions and their intros very long. They try to add a lot of extra words and have really long sentences to say simple things and then have very weak bodies. That is how you get a lower task response.
You got to flip that.
Yes.
You got to do it the other way around.
All your meat should be in your body 1 and body 2.
Yeah.
That's where you're supporting your ideas. That's where you should have the most sentences, the most work.
Yeah. I mean, this may be an exception. You might say a discussion essay may be an exception where the opinion, because it comes in the conclusion, that can be a little bit meatier than perhaps in other task twos. But generally, yeah, you want the meat in the body of the paragraph, of the essay, I should say.
Now, there's one more point that we want to leave you with, and that's how important it is to plan. A lot of the time, you have weaker essays for task achievement, and because you don't have enough details, your ideas are too vague, is because you haven't planned enough.
Yeah, very important for task response, yeah.
Exactly. I have a few simple steps for you guys to do. First, when you get your prompt, you should choose a position, obviously. Write your thesis. That should take 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Thesis is always super easy for the IELTS exam. But
copy and paste.
Exactly, right? But you should spend a good 2 minutes trying to come up with as many big ideas as you can. Big ideas are basically what you could turn into a topic sentence. Now, the reason why you need to come up with so many is so that you can choose. A lot of students make this mistake where they think of 2 ideas, one for body 1, one for body 2, and then they start writing, and then they realize, crap, this is a crappy idea. I can't talk about it for a whole paragraph.
And that's the point. That's what makes a crappy idea. It's not the idea itself, it's your ability to expand on it. Any idea is a good idea for IELTS as long as you can think of ideas. You're not looking for the most compelling ideas. It's just an idea that you can develop. I think that's a good point.
Exactly.
And we spoke about that in the video, which is linked here.
Exactly. So again, basically, you guys should be practicing coming up with more ideas than you need so that you can choose the easiest 2 to write about.
Yeah.
After that, then you should spend a good 4 minutes, maybe more, developing that idea, coming up with clarifications, reasons, examples that show what you're trying to say.
You forgot to mention examples.
I know.
Examples. Yeah. And then after that, you write.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I found students write really fast if they planned well.
Definitely.
Like,
It's going to be much easier for you. And to be honest, if you are sort of that 7 to 9 range, I think with good planning, you are going to write much more quickly. But make sure you leave yourself enough time for one more thing before you finish,
yes.
which is to proofread.
Yes.
Yeah. Pick up all those silly little mistakes. Even us as natives, we still make those little typos, those little spelling mistakes. And those extra 2 or 3 minutes just to read through your work, that could save you some embarrassment perhaps.
And get you a higher score.
And get you the right score, the score that you should be writing at, because you've done all the hard work. Okay, so that is our take on task response for a discussion essay in order to get a band score 9. If you steal our sentences and steal our ideas, then you're going to come out with a great essay and a great score.
It's true.
So I've been Phil.
And I'm Michael.
And you've been watching the IELTS Grind.
Remember to like and subscribe.
And in case you wanted to look at this essay and consider the other aspects of the marking, we've got a whole playlist where we talk about this essay to death. And you're going to learn so much. So check that out up there. Okay, guys, we will see you in another video soon. See you later.
Peace.
No, I'm going to...
From just the analysis.
All right, so this is...